Welcome into the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook and AJ Mumbling. Use code DNVR when you sign up for a new account. Get amazing odds boosts every single day.
I don't know who he was making fun of there.
Do you want to fight?
I don't know. Were you making fun of me?
Yeah.
Then yeah, let's fight.
Okay.
Wait, is this fight going to be more or less real than Kubel trying to fight Romanov?
It'll be more real than the steak dinner that I've been owed for 2 years.
I offered. I said, let's go do a show at a steakhouse.
I want to do a show. I just want to eat a steak.
All right, let's just go eat a steak then.
Beef.
Let's do it.
Eat a free steak at that.
Dr. Dubs in the house as the Canadiens do lose 4-1 to the Avs. Good times.
Hey, which hat am I wearing? Oh, cool. I had no idea.
This game felt
Yeah, this was an accident.
pretty routine compared to the blowout after blowout after blowout that was November. Or if it wasn't a blowout, it was a 7-5 hockey game. So
It was good. It was a good competitive game, and I mean, you beat a bad team.
yeah.
You don't let a bad team use you as a launch pad.
Yep.
That's what we talked about with the Canucks. You take care of business. You play a pretty close game, and you have a good third period. They checked a lot of boxes that you wanted to see them check tonight in terms of how they actually played. The PK was pretty good. I mean, one of 5 is fine, and the one that you give up isn't one that you're really like. I don't know.
Shot from the point goes in.
You talk
live
about
with that,
all the
yeah.
different ways that you could give up a goal against the Canadiens on a power play. Ben Sherratt shooting from the point would have been pretty low on my list, and moving forward would be a thing that I would continue to take chances with.
Yep.
Well, and
Keep shooting, Ben.
and you know, Bednar gets to look like the genius.
Exactly.
He goes back to Jojo, gives up one goal. Jojo wasn't spectacular, but he didn't have to be. Which goes hand in hand with what you were saying.
Team played way better in front of him, and he played way better than he did last night.
Yeah, and he
didn't give up anything free.
He answered when he was called upon, and that's all you're asking for out of a third goalie.
I don't want to take anything away from Jojo, and we'll talk about him more a little bit later in the show.
Yeah, we're not taking anything away from our king of the game.
But
no, it's fine.
I'm going to ask the same question I asked with 10 minutes left in the game.
The answer is completely irrelevant.
Is the score any different if Eustace-Stammen started this hockey game?
It's true. It doesn't matter. It's not the world we live in.
Doesn't matter because you could easily sit and be like, oh, he probably gives up 4 goals. You could also sit and be like, no, I think he comes in and slams the door. Doesn't make any.
Nobody knows.
It was like a half slam as it was tonight.
But I will say that first period, though.
Yeah,
right?
I wanted to go back to that because you said that, and I think it's a great point.
Jojo saw 4 shots, right? Pretty quiet from a first period as far as having to stop things, but good for Jojo, right? Like
it was exactly what he needed.
Yeah, after that shellacking, having that first period where he's like, okay, getting back into it, he started to feel the groove after that. He made some good stops. He made the stops that he was supposed to.
Yeah. He had several that were really nice.
Nothing highlight reel.
No,
he
no,
wasn't
no,
asked to be special, and he wasn't special. He did the job asked of him.
Yep.
And to be honest, after the last kind of really roller coaster, chaotic week of Avalanche goaltending, a boring goalie game.
Seriously.
I mean, between the Ottawa game, which was just a total roller coaster.
Yep.
And then the skate issues with Kemper.
Oh my God.
And then the giving up early leads and goalies randomly getting hurt at morning skate and whatever the hell Jed Alexander is. You know, like Annanen is goaltender of the month while he's on a cross-country flight to get to the arena as fast as he can.
Not continental, but intercountry flight.
You're talking about like a dude that a position that just had a lot of turmoil in the last 2 weeks. And tonight, we talked about in the pregame, like it was a big boy decision from Jared Bednar. Made the decision none of us would have made.
I would have made it.
Worked.
I made it yesterday.
Yeah, would have made the decision 3 of us wouldn't have made, and ended up being totally fine. Yeah. But also like a good reminder of like when this team plays to its structure and plays to its level, it doesn't ask a goaltender to be special, and he wasn't, and it was just fine.
All right.
Well, and it's sorry. I'll be quick on this because I already kind of forgot half what I was going to say.
Keep going. I'm just saying we have him as the king of the game.
Oh yeah, should we just?
So
yeah,
just
there
to
we
make
go.
it official.
Because he was
19 saves. I didn't realize that there were.
It was a pretty low event.
Yeah.
But honestly, like this really was I kind of already started writing a little bit of our game stuff while we were getting everything queued up for the show. And I don't think this was a phenomenal bounce back performance from the Avs. I don't think this was a perfect road game, but it was just a type of game they needed. It was exactly what you said. It was low event. I can think of 2 stops where I thought Johansson was really like, wow, that was a really good save that he made. There wasn't anything mind blowing really anywhere on the ice. It was exactly what they needed, quiet. And there's part of me that honestly, when you said that, it made me kind of wonder, was that why they went back to Jojo? Did they say, we've got confidence in him versus this team, and we just need a night where there's not a storyline in goal?
In goal. And we make him king of the game.
Well, I mean, we can move that storyline up to what's in front of JoJo tonight, because I do think this is an interesting through line of, was the defense better tonight? Yes. But also, they weren't facing the Toronto Maple Leafs firing in pucks on them either.
Yeah.
So where do you draw that line of?
Well, there's...
You don't have to, though, because this is what you played tonight.
Right, like you played to your competition in that you had a poor team, you took advantage of a poor team, you treated them like a poor team, and after tonight's game, they're still a poor team who feels poor about themselves.
And
you didn't let them build any you didn't give them any avenue to build confidence against you. You just took care of business. This is exactly the kind of win that you see good teams win. It's dramaless, take care of business, get out in front, do your thing, build your lead, stamp out any potential comeback opportunities, and just take care of business. It doesn't need to be. We've had such a reality TV show drama filled type of year that straight up like a nature documentary was in order. Like, we needed some Planet Earth up in here, and this was way more chill than we've seen from them in a long time, and they needed that.
And to give a little bit of credit to the Avs, this is the second out of a back-to-back where Montreal was sitting at home waiting for you yesterday.
This is a great point, especially with the way that they got their shit kicked in last night.
And what you just said about, like, this is what championship caliber teams do. They got house.
I particularly avoided that fucking phrase because I hate it. But it's a habit of good teams.
Right. I was gonna say championship caliber. I kind of lump in like 10 teams where you say these are the teams that really have the opportunity to do it, because you lose your goalie yesterday in the middle of the day for no reason. You've got some guy playing from U of T warming up with you. Then you have another goalie show up
halfway through the game.
Halfway through the first period, and you get housed. You start pushing back, and things pile against you. Then you got to get on a probably bus. I don't know. Maybe they fly from Toronto to Montreal.
Yeah, they fly.
You got that little Air Canada.
Yeah.
That they just cruise around the world in.
You get into Montreal late. Less than 24 hours later, after your first game started, you're starting another game. There's a storyline and goal going into the game because there's a lot of controversy. You feel like you've got to come out and bounce back and play better. That's exactly what they did. They didn't blow their doors off. They came out, they took care of business, and that is exactly the type of thing you want to see from a top-tier team.
Well, and if you look at that, I went back and I was looking at Tampa Bay for the last 2 years. I wanted to see if they had like a blowout win or loss, excuse me.
Of course.
They did.
So
against Phoenix, where they lost 7-3.
Then
they bounced back. Oh, sorry.
No, I interrupted you. Keep going.
Yeah. No, that's all I had.
But that was a point that I was going to bring up. I wanted to bring up on a show. Go back over any year. Every team that has won the Stanley Cup gets blown out at least once, if not 2 or 3 times over the course of a full season. Like,
look, if you're going to get blown out, at least get blown out by a good team.
Right.
At least get blown out like on the road in Toronto where you're like, yeah, all right.
With your third goalie.
That's a bummer, but we're going to bin all of this and just forget about it. And like, look, if that's the low point of your road trip,
seriously,
a 5-game road trip, then you've done a great job.
Yeah. It's just last night was really disappointing. There was a lot of things that didn't go well. The game didn't bother me, and this game tonight proved exactly why. It happens to everyone. The Avs were competitive for at least 20 minutes of that game last night, and you can...
Well, the defensive zone was just brutal.
There's so many things that went wrong, but like, it was whatever.
Yeah.
They came out tonight, took care of business.
Yeah. I think not only did they take care of business, they made it feel routine. like they should be doing this every game.
The game never felt in question, in jeopardy. Like it
was 2-1 and they were just controlling.
Yeah.
And you were just like, all right, they're taking care of business, and you don't totally trust it because of Jojo and what happened last night.
Sure.
But and you just never know when you're susceptible to hockey's nonsense, right? Like when you're in the eye of that storm, and it's just like, ugh.
Something dumb happens and away it goes. Yeah.
I mean, Carolina loses tonight 3-2 in a game that they have 50 shots on goal.
Yeah.
Against a team that just put its goaltender on waivers a week ago. Like, weird things happen in hockey, right? And so the bad teams, we always thought the bad teams win 30 games a year. And when you're up 2-1, you're susceptible to something like that happening. Mm-hmm. They got that third goal, and really just the whole game just geared into, all right, let's just get out of here. Let's play this smart. Let's play it safe. Let's be efficient. Let's not get hurt, and let's just get out of here.
There were two things that I thought the Avs did very well tonight that they didn't do last night. One of them was Johansson. I thought his puck control was way better tonight than it was last night. Again, like AJ just said, when they got up 3-1, there's a couple shots, they weren't particularly dangerous. You're not worried about them going in. But he stopped them, and he swallowed them, and he eliminated the chances. With as much as the Avs gave up in front of the net last night, it was nice to see him do that. And it's usually a sign that your goaltender's confident, he's in the game, he's settled. Yeah. The other thing, and, I'm Logan O'Connor's, number one fan, obviously. But that shorthanded goal where he wins two separate battles to set up the Val Nichushkin goal, and you didn't see the Avs winning races last night. You didn't see them winning puck battles. You didn't see them digging pucks out along the wall, and that I just thought really set the tone for you've got to win those battles in games like this where you are fighting through it a little bit still. You get more bad injury news this morning. You got Curtis McDermott, and we've railed on Erik Johnson last night, and suddenly he's back in your top four. And you had a lot of things kind of going against you, and Logan O'Connor just went out there and said, hey, this is what we need to do, and I thought they followed suit.
It's wild to me how well Logan O'Connor's shorthanded game is translated into the NHL.
Dude, it's
because
crazy.
His first year in the AHL, he had 42 points, I think, that year, and genuinely 15 of them were shorthanded. And I was like, well, all right, that's an anomaly. Yeah. We'll never see that happen in the NHL. And now he just goes out here and scores on every 10th penalty kill.
And tonight he had two chances, right?
Probably should have had another point.
That one, if it didn't, it rolled up on his stick as he was trying to go.
And Drouin did get a stick on it. But he had a shorthanded breakaway last night. It's part of what I love about his game so much. Again, on the Val Nichushkin goal, you saw that developing from the neutral zone. That gap was just closing. And he's just, I mentioned it, Blaise, you and I were sitting there watching the game, and I said, he just tracks pucks so well. And he closes gaps so efficiently. What? Was that at me?
No.
Oh. And I really did. I just thought that was one of those things where that was the perfect goal to break the ice for this team. Was literally just a hard work, not coming easy, not coming cheap. He went and he forced that puck onto his own stick, made a great pass, and then Nuke just keeps chugging along, dude.
This is the point in the Nuke life cycle where it's the end of his 2-week goal scoring spree, and everyone's like, maybe he can just do it now. Maybe he is a 20-goal scorer, and I'm just waiting for that cliff to come. But
so I just want to touch on the PK real quick.
Hit it.
Because I think when you have a game where you give up 5 power plays to the other team, you spend a lot of time.
That's 10 minutes.
And
kill.
And I just think that there's some funny numbers here. The Avs PK had the scoring chance advantage.
Oh my!
It was probably all on that one penalty kill.
3-2, it wasn't. And high danger chances was 1-0. And obviously the goals were 1-1. With Montreal on the advantage, and the even just shot attempts. Montreal did have the advantage, but it was 7-4.
All right. So for the record, My title for this podcast was "The Montreal Canadiens are very bad." So,
can you go back and read Nichushkin's stat line that you were reading right before we started this? Because this is where and not to sound too much like the person who's making fun, but like, I don't know if the goal scoring keeps up, but
he's ridiculously effective.
His play just seems different. Is that for me? Do I have?
No. I was just looking, and they didn't give Cale that third shot on.
No, you're lying.
I mean, I just was told I lost that bet.
Rip.
I'm calling DraftKings.
So, just to satiate some curiosity here, with Val Nichushkin on the PK, the Avs outshot the Canadiens 2-0, actual shots on goal.
Good.
And with him on the ice at 5v5, shot attempts were 21-5 in favor of Colorado.
It was
now,
all situations was 28-7, I think it was.
Yeah, his all situations was 27-8.
Oh, that's close. Right.
Actual shots on goal was 14-4.
Oh,
goals was 3-0.
Well, you said
expected goals for was 2.26 versus 0.25.
This is a guy that plays
for a 90% expected goals for percentage. Scoring chances were 16-2, and high danger chances were 6-0.
What was
this
his
is all
TOI?
Nichushkin, by the way. This isn't like
what was his TOI?
1701.
So per 60 rates are less than a goal per 60 for Montreal with Nuke on the ice.
Dude,
so
that's crazy.
He with Nuke on the ice tonight in all situations. The Avs averaged a scoring chance per minute and only gave up 2.
Again, this is a guy who was on the ice for all 5 penalty kills.
Not the most impressive of that stat, but because he was on the ice for the PK, it really is the most impressive of that stat.
Seriously.
Because Kadri was 18-2 in scoring chances, again, at all situations. But Kadri was playing a power play and not a PK.
Right.
So those are tilted in a way that
math adds up a little better.
Doesn't feel as good. But just to give you that idea that the Avs, analytically, the Avs really dominated this. And it was Colorado's best players. It was not the case. It was Colorado's top 6 guys were all... and their top defensemen were all having great games. And then defensively, this is Jack Johnson's magnus opus of...
Oh, boy.
This is what you would expect from Jack Johnson. And Jason Megna managed in 5:54 5v5 ice time tonight. Jason Megna managed 0 shot attempts.
Which
and had 9 against.
Is even weirder just considering the fact that for a few minutes there, they swapped him and Abe Kubel. Magna was actually skating on that third line for multiple shifts.
When you take a stupid penalty and put a team in a bad position and you don't
I
play
hated that became a stupid penalty because I really liked it at first.
You like where his heart is, and then where you're also like, okay, well, that heart landed him in the box and put your team down a man. And
when I thought it was matching, I was like, you'll take the penalty. And then
it doesn't bother you.
And then it panned out and they were shorthanded. I was like, oh, just kidding. I hate that penalty. What an idiot.
That's maybe DraftKings needs to add like a penalty prop for hockey games. That'd be
definitely.
Under. Yeah, penalty minutes over under.
Yeah.
Hit up DraftKings Sportsbook. Use code DNVR when you sign up for a new account right now. If you use the DNVR code, you bet $1 on any NFL team to score a point and win, and you get $100. So as long as they win, you get $100 in free bets you can use on DraftKings. When you get the $100, you can bet on whatever you want. You can bet on Nuke to score a hat trick if you're that much of a believer that he's not Stonehands McGee anymore.
Look, he's Clay Hands McGee right now.
Until they turn back into Stone.
Exactly. Yeah. There's always the possibility that they're going to turn back into it, but you got to say they've softened up a little bit. Come on.
Yeah, I said my piece on Nuke. He's at the peak of his 2-week goal scoring.
I agree with you. We are in lockstep on
he's going to do it this time.
Where hundreds of NHL games have shown what a guy is, and 10 of them that he's played in so far probably aren't real.
Go throw your money in there. I think it was Carolina that ruined everyone's parlays tonight, right? So, unfortunately,
quite a bit of money.
Came up a little bit short.
No,
but
actually, what ruined mine was Washington blowing a lead to Chicago and losing in a shootout.
I thought you were only doing over-unders parlays.
I know. That was what I said.
Degenerate. Jesse needs to call 1-800-522-4700.
I like over-under parlays. You just get to root for goals all night.
Yeah, I thought that's what you were doing. So when that one started to go up, I was like, oh, you should be thrilled.
Well,
they hit that over.
Hit up DraftKings Sportsbook and make better bets than our parlays, I guess. Again, use that DNVR code to get the $1 for $100 in free bets opportunity. Must be 21 or older, Colorado only. Other terms, restrictions, and conditions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And DraftKings is an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Of course, if you have a problem, call 1-800-522-4700. And then hit up Strava Craft Coffee as well. You can get your CBD-infused coffee that can really help with migraines, aches and pains, joint pain, all of that stuff. And it's your morning coffee. It works as with that. How easy are the K-Cups to actually use, Jesse? I've never owned a Keurig.
Oh, dude, it's the easiest thing you could ever do in your life, for real. As long as your reservoir is filled up with water, you put the cup in, you close the lid, and there's a big button that glows. It says start.
You can't miss.
Yeah. My grandma's 93, and she fucking nails it every time she's here. Yeah.
All right. So they make it easy for you to get the Strava
Somebody
that you need.
clip that and make that out of context. Kind of like a little snippet.
DNVR Avalanche after dark.
Yeah.
I won't go there yet. Get 25% off with Strava when you use code DNVR25 on your first purchase. You can also get their subscription service and get 20% off indefinitely. Be sure to check us out here at DNVR too. You can sign up for a DNVR annual membership right now. You get the free shirt alongside with that and access to all of our super cool content. Highly recommend you check it out. We got stuff like power rankings on the reg, a bunch of prospect content with Megan that she's doing. Of course, all of our post-game stuff. Like
Megan will be on the show tomorrow.
Yeah, Megan coming on tomorrow. So be sure to tune in for an update on everyone's favorite Rambo Santa Claus.
Hawaii, it sounds way better.
Woo.
Colorado owns.
All right.
You know what? I will agree with that this year because we haven't got any snow yet. Boom.
Second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast, brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. We got a couple of super chats we can get to here.
Live amongst it.
Only three. All right, not too many. Thank you, Chris. I'm curious as to the decision to play Jojo. Was Bednar, as opposed to Jojo, being a competitor, saying, Beds, I want this start. Good bounce back for Jojo. I mean, look, at the end of the day, all right, enough side chat. It's raining in.
Oh, you guys are in trouble.
I'm just going to keep going.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep talking right here, though, so no one can hear what you're saying.
Are you the one running that Denver Snow account?
Bednar sets the lineup at the end of the day. It's his decision who to put in. But look, we talked about this a lot on the pregame show. If you really want to know what our thoughts are on it, I don't think any of us. Would you have started Jojo, Jesse, or did you just think the Avs were going to do it?
Yeah, if you were the decision maker, not the one trying to guess their decision.
It's a tough question because
it needs to be a tough question with a quick answer.
The more I thought about it, the more I understood why they didn't pull him yesterday. I guess there's my answer. I would have pulled him yesterday for the third, and I would have gone back to him today.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Same, but different.
It makes more sense than the way they did it.
Right. But I also get why they didn't play Annunen. He was probably still getting, like, plane cabin smell off of him on the bench. Like, he still smelled like peanuts.
Well, let me tell you, when he's the number 3 next year, what his life is going to be like.
Yeah.
Do they even have a number 2 for next year? Do they have a number 1 for next year?
Thank you for the super chat, Vaguely
Nobody
Sober.
signed.
Stone Hands McGee is no more. Yeah, he's Clay Hands now. We're getting there. If he keeps scoring, what comes after Clay? Is that like...
See, I actually would say he does still have stone hands because he's just driving these pucks home. Like, he's not doing anything.
Well, that's like he's had a couple of nice shots, but otherwise, like, he just slaps that one and it trickles.
Finds its way in.
It trickles through Jake Allen, and it's like, look,
even his
you're
nice shots
it.
are snapshots that he just kind of like
slaps at.
Yeah, he's like you're so not expecting him to shoot it because he's not postured to shoot at all. Then he just like chips it right by us. So the stone hands might even be the magic behind all this.
I've long been a subscriber to the theory that if I don't know where the shot's going, the goalie doesn't. So it works.
Yeah, all of his shots come from right out in front of him.
Yeah.
It's like,
And one more here from Dylan. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
OMG, Magna on ice CF percent was actually 0. Yep, 0 to 9.
Yeah.
And
everybody's really mad about Curtis McDermott, and he more or less broke even.
Yep.
It was like 10-4 and 11 against, and like
In a super
these
sheltered
shots
role,
and scoring
yeah.
chances and everything it's negative, but it's only by 1, and so you're just like,
Keep in mind,
fine.
context so matters with this next statement. But I thought tonight and Nashville were McDermott's 2 best games.
Agreed.
Like, he didn't do anything.
He didn't actively murder the team.
Right. There was one play where he tried to get after somebody after kind of laying a questionable hit. That dude took right off to the bench, and I was like, well, did his job a little bit, I guess. He scared someone off.
yeah, Montreal's full of little dudes that are just gonna take
Fake
it.
tough guys, yeah.
I wouldn't even say that.
They're not. Yeah, they're not.
Yeah,
tough guys.
just guys who are like, that's not how that's not clean living.
Nick Suzuki rolls up on him and it's like, okay, I'm
Yeah.
gonna go now.
I'm sorry, sir.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to fight that dude.
Right, like, in
he
that
struggles to transition from backward skating to forward skating, but I'm not throwing hands with him.
That's how you have to throw hands. You gotta make him move.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Get him on the move.
We got a
That's it.
super sticker here from Sasha. All right. Pair character punching the air with a fist and bump written on his knuckles.
What? What just happened?
So there are super stickers that people can send instead of super chats, and they show up on here as the description of the super sticker instead of us being able to see the sticker itself. And I long ago made Rudo
that's
promise that when those
awesome.
popped up, he had to do them in a dramatic reading voice.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like
so that's what happened.
it's like when you're in a group chat with iPhones and Androids, and instead of like
Yeah.
little things showing up on the message, it says
phone
"Love
number
the
liked
message."
this.
Yeah, so and so
I think
laughed at a message.
It's great because I'm one of the only Android users in our whole company.
Yeah,
so
thanks
I
for
got kicked out of a couple of group chats.
My
Because there were so many like loved this, loved that, loved, and it shows up, and I'm always like, gotcha suckers.
there, I used to work with this dude who he was a little bit older, and he didn't get that was something automated the phone was doing.
Thought people were actually
So
typing
every
that
now
out.
and then he would put in there like love Dave loves loves this message. Like a word would be misspelled, so you know that he typed it out, and it's like, oh god.
He's just like, I so want to fit in.
Yeah.
I
So
wanna
and so
fit in.
laughed at a message was my favorite. He would do it all the time, and it cracked me up. Cracked me up every time.
That's great, and you never told him, right?
No,
Yeah,
because why
of
would you
course
tell him?
not.
Why would
Yeah.
you embarrass the guy? He thinks he's like in on like a
start
youngster's
doing this.
trend. Yeah. yeah.
So good.
AJ loved that message.
I'm gonna do it right now.
Someone doing Kara right now. All right, interesting. Blais, I'm gonna go way too aggressive, way more aggressive than I should.
Shocked.
Cale Makar, great goal scorer or greatest goal scorer?
Let's go with great, not great.
All right, what about defenseman?
greatest?
What about them?
Greatest defenseman goal scorer?
I mean,
I know Bobby Orr couldn't even carry his skates to the rink for him. I'm being dead serious.
Who?
Bobby Orr.
Never heard of him.
Oh goodness! All right. Anyways,
that,
going back to this.
He
AJ
plays
is on
in-
the same wavelength right now. Let's just keep it
He
going.
plays in juniors, actually.
Yeah.
Is he in the dub?
I think so. I forget which league he's in.
I mean, I think it's too early to tell right now. The trend that he's on, definitely yes. I mean, how are you gonna not say it?
Yeah.
The way that he's producing.
I'm sure some of these defenses have scored more goals, but the last time I looked at the chart, Cale Makar by himself is outscoring like half the team's entire defenses in the league right now. So,
Are you talking about purely just like goal scoring ability or just like putting up the points? Because
I mean, both kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, right now he's on pace to be the NHL's first 30-goal scoring defenseman since Mike Green,
Yep.
which happened in like 2008. So
Have you?
it's not. Or I think Brent Burns might have actually done it once. I know he
That
got
sounds right, but
I know Brent Burns got to 29.
don't know if he got that.
Yeah,
30th,
I don't know if he
yeah.
actually broke 30. But
So he's the
point is that defensemen scoring 30 goals is a thing that in any era outside of the 80s is a thing that just doesn't really exist.
I mean, if you want to have fun with numbers, Cale Makar's on a 40-goal pace.
yeah, I mean,
I know it's not sustainable,
Yeah,
but come
like,
on.
29
expect-
for Brent Burns. He has not hit 30. He had 27 and 29 in
I thought
back-to-back years.
I thought that was correct.
15,
that-
16, and 16, 17. He had 27 and 29 goals.
Yeah, and so I think it's Mike Green and like, I know Dion Phaneuf had like 1 year where it was like, oh.
Wasn't it like his second
It was
year or
his
something
first or
like that?
second
Yeah,
year
yeah,
when
yeah.
I
He
was
was
like-
way more
the
offensive in
big
his early
thing,
days.
the big
yeah.
thing about early career Dion Phaneuf is that he laid people out and then clapped bombs,
Yeah.
and it was like, oh my god, this guy's the future. And then he frosted his tips and was never the same. Never the same.
That's what did it in, man. That's
But
17, 30 goal scoring defenseman in NHL history.
Yeah. So like I
Makar's
said,
the
just
18th if he
just
gets
not
there.
a thing that happens
Yeah.
very often. And I'm like, legitimately, how many of those were Bobby Orr or Paul Coffey or?
Ray
Oh,
Bork
yeah.
had to have
Actually,
a
so
Ray-
I'm
Ray
sorry.
Bork,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
Yeah. So keep going. I'll answer the question.
They're multiple of from one guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the way that Cale moves and carries the puck,
Yeah,
and
it's very
his-
different than the clap
Oh my-
bomb type.
yeah.
of
You
goal
want to
scorer.
you want
His
to
wrist shot is unreal, too.
Habs fans always want to bet on Cale Makar's shooting percentage, because I remember his rookie year he shot 10%, and somebody was like, I was like, it's pretty high for a defenseman.
Yep.
They were like, it's not that high. Guys shoot 11% all the time, and I'm like, yeah, dudes who play it forward, dudes who play on defense don't do it very often.
9 defensemen have scored 30 goals 17 times. That makes sense.
Got it. 9 guys
So
for
Cale
17,
would be the 10th
30
if
goal
he made
seasons.
it.
Yeah. And
so like I said, doesn't happen often, and it really doesn't happen from very many guys.
So seriously, Mike Green was the last one with 31 in 2008, 2009. And before that, 92, 93 was the last time it happened.
And that was a dude that played for the Kings?
Can you get there?
I don't know.
Can you get to the name?
No. Because I remember, is it the Kings?
It
Or
is
was
not.
it or
It
was
is
it
not.
or was it Kevin Hatcher?
It was Kevin
Unreal.
Hatcher in 1992. 1993 was the last person to do it before Mike Green in 2009.
With
So
Pittsburgh?
I believe so.
Okay. So let's tie this back into the Avs defense. Obviously,
Yes.
Cale's leading the way there, but we saw a more complete effort from the Avs defense
No,
Yeah.
on the whole tonight. Uh-oh,
Washington.
He missed one.
with Washington.
Oh, cool.
We talked about EJ needing to play better. He was better tonight. Not going to say he was perfect, but he didn't make catastrophic error after catastrophic error.
I fully agree with every word you just said. I don't know what he's doing on those PKs though. He's floating out high like crazy. Like he honestly looks like he's almost losing his spacing on the rink a little bit. 'Cause it's like, homie, you're standing above the circle right now.
Maybe
That is not your guy.
I should do like a breakdown of the Avs PK this
We
year, 'cause
really
it's
need to
super
do a
weird.
video
It's
breakdown because-
super duper weird.
It's the first time that I've ever watched a team's PK system and gone, okay, this doesn't look anything like what any other club in the NHL is running. The Avs have a PK system completely unto their own. That they and when it works, it makes total sense. But when it doesn't work, you're like, what is happening here? And like tonight, they give up a goal on the power play, and it was like we've talked about. It was like a cheap one where you're like, I'll let Ben Sherratt take that shot all day long over them moving the puck to anybody dangerous. Like Ben Sherratt on their second power play unit firing bombs from the point is like, yeah, I'm all about that. So but their PK, their actual system, like the way that thing is designed and the way that they rotate and the way that they are working to keep pucks on the wall and out high is just, it's a really interesting little shell game that they play because their forwards don't rotate the way that you think they're going to. You think that they're going to, this guy's here, so this guy goes here. And instead, the defenseman goes there, and the forward goes there, and that guy, and you're like, what the hell's happening right now? And then when it works, you're like, oh my God, this is brilliant. And then when it doesn't, you're like, well, that's what happens when you don't cover the guy in the middle of the ice, dumbass. So it's an interesting system that I think probably requires a higher level of execution than your average PK, and it's why I think guys like Jost and Nichushkin and O'Connor are really, really good on it, and why Darren Helm looks a little lost, because it's 3 guys who are really, really smart hockey players who understand how the ice is rotating and where they're supposed to be going, how they're attacking the space that they're supposed to be filling in, and the defensemen are kind of just chilling.
They do seem to kind of pile on up on either side of the net. And just
they kind of play like a old school, like a basketball zone defense, where they're told like, all right, you take this spot on the ice, anything within 5 feet of you, you kind of just wave a stick at or lay down and block a shot. All right, you do the same thing on the other side, and then that's like the defensive responsibilities. Whereas the forwards rotate in such an interesting way that it's like, because if you watch how other teams do it, everybody kind of plays
the boxy,
like a system that you could have. Oh, I've never watched the Panthers PK system. You'd have a pretty good idea of what they're going to do and how they rotate, just from watching hockey. And then you watch the Avs, and you're like, what? What's happening?
Well, and like then you watch Montreal, who just plays this like hyper aggressive.
Yeah, they make you beat them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of teams that have played the Avs against the Avs specifically, and
we'll say,
well, and like they're like, hey, we don't. If you give Cale Makar and Nathan McKinnon and Mikko Rantanen time, those guys are gonna screw you.
Around,
I mean,
we'll take our chances with entries and things like that than giving these guys time and space. So they're just like, look, make a great play and beat us.
Yeah.
Well, and
it is high risk.
High risk, high reward.
It also encourages the defenseman to shoot the puck. Every defenseman in the world gets told, if you're not sure, just fire it deep into the zone. And having the defenseman shoot the puck, even if it is Cale Makar, you want him shooting or you want Nathan McKinnon shooting?
I honestly don't know at this point. But no,
and that's the thing. The answer is yes.
Right.
For the Avs, yes. For other teams, they got to make a little bit of a choice.
And the other thing, too, with playing that type of aggressive penalty kill, especially against a team like the Avs who are struggling to get the zone just in general right now, when you are forcing them to play uncomfortable, forcing them to have to reset over and over and over again, suddenly you look up in that first unit that has so many weapons, you're 90 seconds in and they haven't even established zone time, and it's like...
It's kind of like when you're struggling to get into the erogenous zone.
I knew this is where
Manscaped has so many weapons.
It's not, how I figured it out? His face changes. He gets the glint in his eye.
Use code DNVR to get 20% off the Perfect Package 4.0. You can get free shipping as well when you go over to manscaped.com and use that. They got a bunch of great tools, though, for real. Not just for your junk, but you can get their trimmer for your beard, your nose hairs. You can get their body wash. That's the right word.
Yep.
Conditioner and shampoo, too. My wife loves the smell of it, so it works. That's all I got to say. Get yourself some Manscaped. And then...
Rudo loves those 3-day breaks.
I love how you stopped even trying to be subtle about it. You're just like, nope.
Why?
Just, what?
Why be subtle about it?
Like 3 months ago, I ran out of good ones. I couldn't come up with any good ones, so I just said, shave your balls.
Yeah, well, I was going to say,
Hit up a local company, too, with Snooze Sleep. They have their new 4-in-1 mattress, and you get firm, soft, hot, cold. Flip the mattress for firm or soft. Flip the mattress cover for hot or cold, up to a 10-degree difference. So whichever way you like to sleep, they have you covered, too. Huh?
What?
They made fun of me when I said hard or soft.
I know. I said I'm glad that he went away from hard or soft, and now he's using industry
firm
terms.
Yeah.
Firmness. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, hit up Snooze Sleep. They're local to Colorado. They'll ship the bed right to you. They have a try it before you buy period. Well, you have to buy it, but they have a test period too. So if it doesn't work out for you, you can always return the bed if the sleep isn't going your way. Last but certainly not least, hit up Chevalier Mortgage. Both Mike and Virginia have been doing it here in Colorado for a very, very long time. Buying a house kind of ridiculous right now. The good thing about Mike and Virginia is they will get you into what?
No, I was agreeing with you.
Okay.
The market's all kinds of bonkers.
I hate banks, chat. Because they are...
Oh, God, here we go with this liberal scum trash again.
No, but
lefty nonsense talking points. No.
Genuinely, the reason you need someone like Mike in Virginia is because banks will just straight up set you up with a predatory loan for like horrible interest rates and all sorts of terrible stuff. So
Here comes
no, that's all.
capitalist hellscape.
Well, if you want to go into, but Mike is a certified financial planner, so he can actually look at all that stuff.
Get to this read first.
He can look at your money and see what is the right home loan for you. They got it covered top to bottom. You can check them out at dnvrmortgage.com where you can get a free consultation and also a chance to win some free DNVR swag. So check that out. You can also call Virginia directly at a number that exists that I definitely know off the top of my head, and I'm
just impressed by how much of this you do off the top of your head and make sure like on the right days and all that.
303-257-657. I used to not know, and then we started doing all of our shows like in studio, and it's like, gotta just memorize the stuff that we need, I guess. 303-257-6578 or dnvrmortgage.com. Michael Chevalier, NMLS 1931006. Virginia Chevalier, NMLS 1910631. We got there. All right. Yeah. If you haven't come down to the bar yet, by the way, you got to do it. Come check us out.
Crowd tonight.
I saw. I made a deal with myself, and I haven't told anyone this yet, but I promised anyone whose Spotify Wrapped has over 10,000 minutes of the DNVR Avalanche podcast listened to, come down to the bar for a night, and I will buy you your beers. So, if you're a diehard listener, I got you. A lot of you aren't local, so it's going to be hard for you to get here. But
we should have anybody that had over 10,000 minutes listened to and comes down and proves it. They should get to watch the pod live.
If they want to. Yeah, if they want to, I'm down.
That'll take away from their listens for next year, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you have to re-listen to it.
Then you don't get free drinks from Rudo.
Yeah.
Like,
such a problematic thing.
could put the headphones in.
Yeah.
So anyway, come down to the bar. Also, it's kind of a great place to watch a hockey game. We got good vibes going out on here. So
Food's so good, too.
yeah, the food is delicious. I could even eat a little bit of it, even with my my wisdom teeth out. It was pretty light chewing. We'll put it that way. But
a lot of just mashing it against the roof of your mouth.
Yeah. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. All right. Andre Burakovsky scores a goal. He scores a hockey goal. It was not particularly pretty.
Least pretty Burakovsky goal of his Colorado tenure?
Probably, to be honest. But it went in the net, which required him to shoot the puck on the net. So, improvements?
He was pretty close, wasn't he?
He was, nearly in the crease, I think.
So, hard to miss that one.
Backhand chip.
Well, yeah.
But, AJ and I were kind of talking before the show, and it was like, Burky needs to get one pretty soon here.
This is the abridged, clean, adult, very YouTube-friendly version
of
that
and we're keeping it that way.
But yeah, we had that conversation.
Yeah. So, it's just a situation. We kind of talked about this before. With every goal scorer or three-point shooter in the NBA or anything of that, you hit a breaking point where it's like, yes, this guy needs to shoot his way out of his problem. But if that problem starts stretching 10, 15 games and he's still not scoring, then you have to start having hard conversations.
When you look at his last 3 goals, and 2 of them are greasy goals around the net, and then one of them was, I don't remember exactly what it was, but I remember it was either into an empty net or it was just like, okay,
wide open, whatever.
Yeah, it wasn't like a Burky type goal. So it's been a while since we've seen one of the highlights,
The backhand one is the last one.
Oh, it was I remember what it was. It was the goal against Grubauer, where I was on the watch along. I was like, just throw it on net.
That's right. Yeah.
and it just gets through him
somehow,
because it wasn't a great shot. Right. It was just like, wow.
What's so funny to me about Burakovsky is a guy with his skill set is normally the type of person that you would almost have to, when they go through a slump like this, usually those types of players do nothing but try to shoot their way out of it, and they can end up making other mistakes because they're trying to force one to go in. He is the exact opposite. He's like, oh, it's not going well for me, so I'll just never shoot again.
Well, he's missed the net a ton lately, and then after that, he was like,
his course correction was put it right into the chest.
Yeah.
He was number 1 on the team on zone clears from mid.
Yeah.
No kidding.
And yeah, you just, again, I hate being a shoot it person, but when you have someone that's got that type of shot and that skill set, where it really is like that skill set for him is truly elite, like it's truly world class. He does. He's just got to. You've got to just shoot your way out of it. And what's been the most frustrating for him, and part of the reason why you're so happy to see one go in for him tonight, is he's had opportunities. It's not like we're asking him to shoot, shoot through bodies or take bad shots. He's got chances where he's walking into scoring zones on the ice and is actively electing to defer. And just he's a guy that you need to just put the puck on net. One's going to start, they're going to start going in for you. He's a streaky guy. You hope that a fluky one can maybe kind of get him rolling because he is very Jonas Donskoy, Matt Duchene.
Get the monkey off the back kind of thing.
Where it's like when he's going, they're all going in. And when he's not, he's just clearing the puck.
Yep.
Has Donskoy scored yet?
Nope. Unless he scored tonight or something. I don't know. But so Burky gets that monkey off his back. Landy gets the empty netter. I had a good tweet about Landy scoring goals. That's all I'm going to say about that.
He found the G spot.
He did. It took him longer than we thought, but he got there. Did the thing. I mean, this is just a solid, well-rounded win, to be honest.
I like... my favorite part about this was the third period where they've got the lead.
And there was no panic.
There wasn't panic. There wasn't over-enthusiasm. They didn't make a ton of mistakes. They didn't put themselves in bad spots. They didn't completely stop playing. They didn't gear it down at all. They just stuck with what they were doing.
Yeah.
They just kept on going. And that's why when you go and you look at the numbers and score effects never kicked in because they just didn't let their foot off the gas. Right. Yeah. Like they just kept going. You talk about playing a 60-minute game. Like this is as close as you actually are going to get to a team playing a 60-minute game where they, it was 0-0 after the first period, but they had the lion's share of chances. They looked like the better team for decent portions of that period. But even when they didn't, it wasn't like they were just hanging on for dear life. And it wasn't like they escaped the first period 0-0. It just was 0-0. It's just how it went, It was just really... It was just such a solid all-around win. And, you put it in the context, Montreal's bad. But you can only beat who you play, And you got to stop. At some point, there's got to be a time where we stop either... Not apologizing for, but... throwing in the caveat that team's not very good.
Look, now that we're back to our regular schedule, every team plays each other at least twice.
Right.
So you don't really have that excuse anymore of, you get all the easy teams.
Yeah, everybody's going to play everybody. And, Colorado's schedule in November was light.
For sure.
And it's, you look at, they've played 2 games in December. They play one of the NHL's hottest teams in Toronto.
And one of the worst.
And get shelled. And then play one of the teams struggling the most.
Team,
and come out with a pretty impressive and, easy-ish win. But this was just... It's funny to compare it to last night's game because the goal that never happened tonight is the huge one.
Yep.
Is the key to that game because you look at, we talked about that 4th Toronto goal last night.
Yep.
How it just ended the game, just changed the game. And tonight, that goal just doesn't happen, and the Avs momentum just carries them through the end. And what a huge boon it is that the goaltending just does its thing.
You got to take away that positive in the third period, what you were talking about, where they never let him back into the game, and that's something that the Avs have been doing this year,
and they,
right? They're not good in the third
period. 0 goals
period.
Against, giving up in the third period. Even they've gotten out of some games where they had, they had a 7-0 lead against Seattle and finished 7-3.
Yep.
Getting out of some of these games. Even the really weird Matt Duchene goal against Nashville. It didn't matter. Like it was only.
It did matter. It mattered to Matt Duchesne.
It was only annoying because it was because who scored it. Where you're just like, ugh. But it like it doesn't. But
stupid stuff like that is how a reputation gets.
Well, and it's how a team starts to be. It gets in its own head a little bit, and like throwing up a clean sheet in a third period is a really, really, really nice way to be.
Absolutely,
it's good, clean living. It needs to be kind of the habits that they lean into. And obviously, like, okay, you wish you played Montreal and had a 2-goal lead every night, going into the third period. But you gotta they had 2-1 lead. They built it into 3-1, and then they just shut the door. And I think that's my biggest takeaway from tonight is that they played kind of the game that they should be playing.
Yeah. The one you've been kind of waiting to see them
really
do. And not a game where they run away with it.
Right.
Nonsense is happening and you win a game 7-5. No, this is a 4-1 win is a solid hockey game win.
4-1 with an empty net.
Yeah, 3-1.
Right,
So
it's really a 3-1
game.
game. It's based in reality in a league that 2 months from now scoring is going to be 3-2 every freaking game.
Yeah.
Because it happens every year.
For the record, apparently Bednar said after the game that it sounds like it's a head injury for Darcy Kemper.
So he tripped and concussed himself or something?
What WWF at the hotel.
Puck to the head would be my guess.
Ooh, yeah.
Was it an on-ice thing? I guess he probably didn't specify.
I don't know.
Well, if it's a puck to the head, I hope it's on ice.
Yeah.
So he said that he said that he did media, and then 30 minutes after media ended, which media takes place 10-ish
after.
Well, during morning skate.
After morning skate.
Depending on the setup, it happens
So
during morning skate.
Probably developed a migraine after the fact or something.
And he said 30 minutes after he was informed that there was an issue with Kemper. And so you're talking about something that was not immediate because he got off the ice. Kemper got off the ice. Bednar got off the ice.
Went and did media.
Everybody was under the assumption that Darcy Kemper was still starting.
Right.
He does media 30 minutes after that is when he's informed that there's a problem. I have no idea what that is. If he gets a puck, if he gets a puck to the head,
yeah.
I mean, he could have just banged his head on his locker.
Nobody knows.
You have no idea what that could
Went
be.
full Goldberg.
The quote from Bednar said it for both Kemper and Byram. He said it could be 2 days, it could be a month.
So concussions, got it.
Yep.
Okay. Avs go 8-2 in this 10-game stretch that we like to use officially now.
Yeah.
Knocked it out the park. You start the next
4-5-1,
4-5-1, 8-2,
and then 8-2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not bad.
Good.
You start your next 10-game segment, 3 games on the road, Ottawa, Philly, New York. Avs got to get 2 out of 3 here?
Well, that gives you a 3-2 road trip.
Yep.
And really, if you get the next 2,
then you get a freebie
you live
in New
with
York.
whatever happens in New York,
Yeah.
right? Where if you get the win and you're 4-1,
And you're feeling fucking
you're
great.
loving life.
Yeah.
You're loving life. You get to you go 1-1 in the next 2 games, and
You gotta win in New
You're
York.
feeling good, but you really
You want to close
the
strong
Rangers
there,
game really changes how you look at that trip.
Yep.
So I think it's focus on Ottawa. Obviously, I can't imagine that Johansson doesn't get that net after tonight, and
unless Kemper's
what's
magically healthy.
hilarious is I could see them going to Anna on Saturday.
Yep.
I mean,
I totally could.
From a fatigue standpoint, because you keep in mind Jojo played 2 games last week because Kemper, because of the skate nonsense.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the back-to-back.
Yeah.
So, and then he gets the back-to-back tonight. You're right that there could be a good they could just say, hey, Ottawa's the weakest of these 3 opponents that we have coming up. We'll take our chances with the kid in Ottawa.
Especially after, the team feels better now. The team went out and had a nice game.
Yeah.
You're not, kind of like what you're just talking about with the New York game. You're not sitting there, because honestly, the Avs had to win this game.
Yep.
You had to have this game.
It really helps build the rest of the road trip without feeling a lot of pressure.
I don't think they had to win it, but it would have felt pretty bad.
It makes it a lot easier to have a good road trip.
And I mostly mean that in terms of kind of like what you were just talking about with the New York game. If you win the next 2, the New York game's kind of like, we'd like to win, but if you play a good game.
Your scheduled loss on a 5-game road trip is always the 5th game.
Yeah. And so tonight was one where it's like, okay, cool. Now you get to head into these last 3. You're 1-1. So I actually, and you're playing against somehow a weaker opponent than Montreal. and I could see them giving Annan in that game, and then, kind of giving Jojo the sandwich of 2-2. And that also gives it where, okay, you give Johansson another night off, maybe he plays in Philly, and then maybe Kemper is back for New York. You know what I mean? It's
Look, if you're not going to play Annan against Montreal or Ottawa, you're never going to play him. That's that's reality that I think you're living in. So
you'd want him to get the start in one of those 2 games.
Yeah.
In terms of like,
if you want to see him at all, like, is it, or is he just here as insurance? And it's like, no, we're going to ride Jojo.
I think right now we're leaving out the X factor that is Pavel Francouz's conditioning.
Definitely true. He could be back.
If he plays both games in the AHL, he plays well and looks good. He could easily join them in
Wednesday,
Philly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
and either get the Flyers or the Rangers game.
Yeah.
And be back, and like that's whatever Kemper's status is going to be a day-to-day thing.
Welcome back, Frankie. Here's New York. Have fun.
Honestly,
the Rangers?
Francouz really is gonna
just riding them off, huh?
Fuck the Rangers. Go Islanders.
Really is like that. That could be Pavel Francouz, and I know it's a huge question mark. The dude hasn't played in 2 seasons. I get it. I get it. But if he can come back and you expect a little bit of rust, but even be close to somewhat of that form he was in a few years ago, that is all this team needs as you're kind of in a holding pattern waiting for Kemper.
There really shouldn't even be rust, right? That's what the conditioning stint's for.
Right.
You're playing both of the game. You're probably playing both of those games.
The caliber of shots is a little bit different.
It is. But
but it's getting game speed and getting back to a competitive environment because half of 2 halves of preseason games 2 months ago, it's really just face some shots and then we'll throw you in, because at some point you got to get him back into a game and be like, good luck, dude. Like, we gave you a 2-year deal.
Yeah.
Can we start getting some return on it?
We're not going to say break a leg because
straight up.
Yeah.
We don't want him to just keep cashing them checks.
But I think the only other situation in which I could see where I could maybe see them being more comfortable playing Annan if you're not going to stick him on a road trip, or to your point, you're not going to put him against 2 of the weakest teams in the league, would be at home where you have a little bit more control over your matchups. I could see them maybe being, if they want to say, well, we want to see what he looks like, but I'd really prefer that in a more controlled environment. But I really do. I think Saturday is a good opportunity to get a look at him, get Jojo a day off, knowing that you might have to ride him for these last couple games of the road trip after that. I think Saturday would actually be. I think that game's a good candidate for Annan.
Beyond the road trip, if Kemper day to day doesn't play, whatever, you're staring down the barrel of they have 14 more games this month, and you don't know when you have your only extended day of break. The rest of this month is Christmas.
Yeah.
So you're not anywhere close to that. You're gonna have to get good performances here out of Johansson, Annan, and Frankie.
Yeah.
Those are all that's just gonna have to happen if Kemper remains on the shelf. That's a big ass elf.
One final topic here. Nathan MacKinnon did not put one in tonight.
I thought looked dangerous and
I
was
thought so too.
Really engaged.
He had that bomb of a one-timer on the power play. Just didn't
Which
find
is
the net.
that's a great look.
Yeah.
That was a really good power play. It was frustrating that they didn't score because you're like, they've scored on some bullshit power plays before. When you generate like that, you're like, come on, just reward these dudes.
That bumper pass that they were doing, we were talking about it during the power play. It was
The bumper pass from me to AJ.
Yeah,
1 foot
3 feet
away.
away. It's like you're not changing the
Goalie
angel.
doesn't even move, and he's still square.
So I guess the biggest thing that I have that I don't like about that is that it's thrown with velocity.
Yeah.
And so the velocity that he passes it with takes away from the velocity Kadri can shoot it with.
Yeah.
Because he's gotta get
almost
the
gotta,
stick
like,
through
sling it,
quicker.
yeah.
And so if he takes just a little just a couple miles an hour off that thing because it was not a soft pass.
Yeah.
Throw just a little air under it and like, geez, man,
They
like,
were just yeah.
It's and you're right. It doesn't change any angle. It doesn't. It's taking what the defense is giving you. But they're giving you that because they're okay with that being the shot that you take.
Yeah.
They would much rather Nazem Kadri take that shot than have McKinnon, Makar, or Rantanen do anything.
Well, and when you use that bumper either going from low to the middle or if there's more space there, then yeah, you're creating movement, you're creating lanes. Literally, I mean, like I think there was 2 in a row where it was, maybe
One of which
just
got
beyond,
blocked.
me to AJ.
Yeah.
So one other thing I want to ask real quick. Knowing that it's a head issue, it sounds like a concussion issue. Does this quiet the narrative of Darcy Kemper's injury?
No, because no, like,
and I'm being dead serious.
Does
like
it quiet it? No, but it's also like his injury-prone issues. It was like a knee.
It's not. Not a recurring.
He's not having like this is a.
So like him getting a concussion isn't what we were worried about when they went out and acquired him.
How often do you think about a goaltender suffering concussion symptoms?
I hate to say this.
From taking a shot to the head.
Do you know who I'm going to say? And it's when you're comparing it to this current situation, it's the worst case scenario. Jonas Hiller in the All-Star game.
I mean,
that literally ended his career.
You've come up with how many goaltenders?
No, but I'm saying that's the one I can think of. Yeah,
but this is what I'm saying is that how many goaltenders get hit with shots in the mask or whatever,
and they're totally fine.
And like you see them, they're always mad about it in practice, and
but they're not concussed either.
Right? Like it's just a thing. Like concussions are bad luck. If you know anything about concussions at all, you know that they are bad luck. It's not like a trainer thing. Bad luck, it's not like but it's bad luck because your brain rattles around in your head when it takes contact, and sometimes it's fine, and other times it's not. You can't. There isn't a thing that's not like a. It's not like a, oh, you're more prone to this or you're less prone to this or you're, that guy's stouter than that guy. It's a matter of, did you just get lucky? And I know that people hate that the world sometimes rests on the fate of something completely out of anybody's control.
It do be like that sometimes.
But when it comes to just luck, like, what do you want a staff to do? Like, there were people in my mentions who were like, I think this is the end of Bowen Byram's career. Yeah, okay. Like, remember when Sidney Crosby missed 2 full seasons?
Came back as the
best player in the league.
And like did everything imaginable before he had started having that kind of conversation. Like, we're a long way away from that because Bowen Byram was feeling some after effects, a week later, a week and a half, 2 weeks later. Like, it's definitely a concern. You worry about it, but you also look at a guy like Eric Johnson. Eric Johnson's had a really bad problem all of last season. It carried on into the summer. It was bad enough that the Avalanche would not have ever been able to buy him out because he couldn't have passed his physical.
Yep.
And so, like, this was a thing that lingered into the summer. And then as the season got ready to get going, cleared up, got better. The Avs got lucky that it got better and that he wasn't just hanging out, not being able to participate or play, and that $6 million went to nothing.
Yeah.
Like, there are degrees to this.
Of course.
And it's just, it's so random. And it drives me crazy to watch people try and draw strong conclusions. When it's like, this is the one injury that there's no timeline, there's no telling, we have no idea. Connor Timmins missed an entire season and has pretty much been fine ever since. He's had other injury issues that have since plagued him. But like with the concussion stuff, like he's been good in that area since then.
It's
totally random, man. It is literally just a luck of the draw. And you look at
it's both sides of the coin, right? With a concussion, you're not good until you are, and you are good until you're not. And that's it. That's the end of the story. There's no,
and with like
we haven't advanced enough as humanity to like mark it better than that.
And knee injuries, and this guy has shoulder surgery. Like there's all these things that are predictable. There was a lot of people trying to act like, oh, this was an inevitable thing today online that that Darcy Kemper would get a concussion symptom from taking a shot to the mask when he hasn't had concussion problems in his career.
Right.
And that Frankie would have an ankle problem because he had hip surgery, that he would get his skate caught in the net in the preseason and end up with an ankle problem where he had to miss the first 2 months of the season. Like, this was predictable.
That was my favorite stuff.
It's like, what the fuck did you think they were going to do? They were already, like, in terms of Frankie, he was already under contract.
Right, he was under contract, and he was good to go. Like, he was good to go. He was cleared.
He played an entire preseason
right,
game already.
And all the people that were like, they had 2 incredibly injury-prone goalies. And I was like, Frankie has never had injury problems in his career. And someone's like, oh, yeah, 30 games. It's like, oh, yeah, he just started playing 2 seasons ago. You're right, I did forget.
All right. I want to close this out here, but 3 things to talk about. First of all, talking about injuries, insane that tonight was only Erik Johnson's 800th NHL game.
Yeah.
For as long as he's been in the league.
I'm not 100% on this, but it's somewhere right around Erik Johnson has only played roughly 64% of the games
crazy
that he has been in Colorado.
For,
Since getting to the Avalanche, he's only played about 64% of their games.
We got a super chat here. Donald says, I believe Bo will be back okay, though he young. Got it. I would rather he gets the rest. Of course.
Well, and the thing is that we don't know the rest that he needs.
Right.
It's a moving target.
The dude could genuinely wake up tomorrow and be fine. Yeah.
Remember that first game back where he looked all world again?
Yeah.
And then yesterday he was horrible, and today he wakes up and he's got symptoms and some problems. Like,
he practiced the day after he took that initial elbow to the head. He was at practice, joking around, flying around.
In a full contact jersey.
Yeah.
The rest that he needs changes basically every day. And the Avalanche are smart enough. They have handled concussions about as well as you could ask a team to handle them.
All right, final thing. 20 games in, Avs are 12-7-1, third place in the Central with 3 games in hand on everyone ahead of them.
How many raw points back from first?
2 points back from second, 8 points back from first.
Is that Minnesota?
Yes. Minnesota's on a tear.
Yeah. Minnesota's been super legit.
Would you take this spot on opening night?
Yes.
20 games in.
Yes. Yep. Not knowing how it got made at all, not knowing with all the injuries, not knowing with all the chaotic bullshit that they've had to put up with. Absolutely.
Okay.
You're in the playoff hunt right now.
I would have been a mild disappointment because say 14-5-1, and I'm like, you're fucking rocking.
1 or 2 wins more.
Like, you're rocking. It's really the Columbus games. If you flip the result of the Columbus games, it's an A+ start to the season. You're fine.
We gotta end the pod chat. My teeth hurt. I'm sorry, but
I can't believe you're doing this. Yeah. Good on you, by the way. We talk a lot about hockey toughness. Rudo had 3 wisdom teeth yanked out of his head today, and
I don't want to hear it, man. I don't want to hear any whining about it. I told him to stay home.
Yeah.
I told him that, hey, stay home. This is exactly why we hired Jesse, so that we could get through nights like this and not have it be a problem.
I brokered a deal. You probably won't see me on tomorrow's show, but you can see Megan talk about Sampo Ranta instead, so that's good.
And Frankie.
Yeah, Frankie too. That's right. I forgot. Anyway, hope y'all enjoyed the show. We love all y'all. Be sure to like and subscribe here on YouTube. You can get notified every time we go live.
Oh, yeah, we didn't do winner shots.
I ain't doing winner shots.
Show's over.
It's a weekday.
I'm just saying. Somebody mentioned it in chat, and I just forgot all about it.
My wisdom teeth come in clutch, all right? Can't drink tonight. I saved all of you. You're welcome.
Thank you.
We'll see you on the next one, chat.
Just
Until then.
2 rounds on Saturday.
We'll talk to you later.